Welcome back, Hot Wheels collectors. Today's video is, in part, yet another effort to continue clearing this diorama table so that I may start bringing out some interesting stop motion and review videos on my forest junkyard diorama. I'm getting through this massive pile of cars I need to sort through since May 2019. Slowly getting through all of this now, and I have got a whole bunch of blue card Hot Wheels here that need to be opened up so that I can present them for you in a review, as well as put them onto the display wall, which encompasses all of the blue card Hot Wheels. You can see there's some gaps in these Plano model number 5324 cases, and those gaps will be filled more and more with these cars that I'm opening with the help, thank you very much, to Michael Zarnock's Variation Ultimate Guidebook. Several years old now. This one is the 3rd edition. I believe there is a newer edition out now, but this one still seems to do the trick for what I'm using it for. And I've got some interesting variations in here, 2 lines of cars. Everything you see is getting opened up in this video, and we're going to talk about values, rarity, and any other interesting information that may be specific to each casting. So without further ado, let's get into this video. As you can see, I do have 2 rows of cars to open up for you, and we're going to start with this Camaro Z28, the Pontiac Bandit, the Trailbuster, Goodyear Blimp, Shock Factor, Tractor. I'll give you all the numbers of the collector numbers on these in a moment. Turboa, RodZilla, Command Tank. So let's start off with that. It still amazes me that I have so many cars left to add to my collection, but it's a lot of fun. So here we have the number 33 on the Blue Card Collectibles series, Camaro Z28. This is one I already had on my wall with the Ultra Hot Wheels and metal base. What I didn't have on my wall was this number 33 Blackwall version under the 10 speed point variety of packaging. It has the black plastic base as well, with the skid plates, as they're called, the axle skid plates. You can see these big chunky black rectangles of plastic, and these were found first on the McDonald release promotional cars of the early 1990s. So I think they had some carryover chassis. The car is very chintzy and light feeling, but it was needed in my collection. This one seems to have a bit of a mark on the roof. I'll try to deal with that later. But it's nice to have this one to park alongside the Ultra Hot version, as was needed. Lots of packaging going to be getting discarded here. I do keep the card backs. The next car we're looking at and opening up are 2 variations of collector number 75, the Pontiac Bandit. This was an actual Pontiac, what do you call it, concept car. A concept car created by Pontiac in the late 1980s. And ultimately, I think the Grand Am, it was kind of based on a Grand Am, Pontiac Grand Am type thing. I might be wrong about that, but it was never produced, obviously. Ahead of its time. I do already have this gold Ultra Hot version opened up. I believe I opened this one up a long time ago from my display wall before I knew what its value was. This is a very valuable variation with the gold Ultra Hots in the package. Can be found for anywhere $200 and up. I've seen it. They rarely sell, and they're definitely not a common find. So anyways, I've got that one open up, so what's the harm in opening up these lesser common variations? Obviously the most common would be the Blackwall version from 1989. I do have a 5-spoke and a 7-spoke here. According to the Michael Zarnock book, neither one is worth more than about $15. And I really just want to enjoy these on my wall because they have been sitting in a box for years. So out they come. Just making a mess of the packaging here, but it's half the fun, isn't it? So now we have the 7-spoke and the 5-spoke along with the gold Ultra Hot. Pretty cool little castings, heavy little cars. None of these have the Pontiac printing on the back of the casting as the rare 1989 castings did. some of them anyways. Next one on the package is this number 110 Trail Buster. There was 2 variations released for this one in the Blue Card series. The common variation has a yellow, pink, and pastel blue tampo over kind of a sky blue enamel paint job. The uncommon variation, and these were really hard to find even just a couple years ago, is this black, yellow, and pink tampo version on the sky blue paint. I bought one of these years ago. I think I paid quite a bit for it. I got another one now just recently. I think it was about $35. And I've wanted to open one up ever since. I never was able to open up my first one because it was quite rare and uncommon. But now that I have 2, I can easily put that one on my wall. The Zarnock guide states this one's only worth about $25. So that's about in the ballpark, I guess. But given that the Zarnock book 3rd edition is quite old, I would say that Hot Wheel prices are steadily increasing at this time. So there you go. If you have one of those, treasure it. Next we got the Goodyear Blimp number 137. I have a nice mint opened Goodyear Blimp already, number 1 in tires. And you can see there's quite a variation, even though both of these blimps were released on the same card at the same time. They have this cool little flippy thingamajig that shows two different advertisements. One for Goodyear, number 1 in tires, and the other for Hot Wheels. Well, let's see what it says on the other side of this one, because you certainly can't tell in the package. It probably is the same. If we can turn it without breaking these fragile old fins. Well, I don't know. It doesn't want to turn. I'm not going to force it. The important thing is I have the variation here. One has Goodyear in black, the other has the Goodyear in blue. Neither are overly expensive variations, so it's nice just to have both of them there. Now for the shock factor. There's variations of this car all over the place with the same paint job but different colored pink plastic. The rarest variation has red plastic, and I don't have that one in my collection, but I don't know. It's not a casting I like incredibly much. It's way too large in scale for most Hot Wheels, but it is, you know, a number 141 blue card collectible, so important. And the variation we have here is a light pink plastic and a dark pink plastic. These are really only $2 cars even to this day. I think that's about all I paid for this variation. And there you have it. There's the, I'm not even sure if that's going to show up on camera, the variation there. Pretty subtle. Next up, the tractor. Now there's lots of variations of this collector number 145 tractor. Most notably, I have, oh my goodness, I have lots of variations here, but one is the red tractor. And those came with different wheels, including the TriBlade wheel on the front, and the other at the same collector number. This would have been in the faded blue and white card, was the green and yellow version with the TriBlade. But this is an original blue card version. It's worth about $10 to $15, I think, according to the guidebook. It's not one I have in my collection, and it's nice to have that one out now. Looks really good alongside the red version, and will, of course, be featured on the display collection wall. Next up, surprising I didn't have this one in my collection. I do have it somewhere, but it's completely beat up from play. The number 155 Turboa. Quite an unpopular casting. Nowadays, I think it's been completely dropped. Here we have the common version with the Ultra Hot wheels. It's an all-metal car with chrome plastic engine and exhaust pipes and cockpit. It's actually quite a clever casting in my opinion, and fairly heavy with this all-metal configuration. Here's the rare one, according to the Zarnock book, worth $15. This one has the silver Hot One wheels, and that's why that one's worth more than this about $4 version. Neither of these cost me more than about $2 each, though, at this point, so there you have it. Both those cars going straight to the display wall, as I do not have any on the wall at this point. RodZilla. Well, RodZilla is an interesting casting. I think it's been brought back, too, for even the modern current Hot Wheel mainline. It's got this rotating head back in its first release. You've got the known purple variations with the base. Some are like a dark mauve, others are pinky purple. The common ones had the Ultra Hot wheels on them. The uncommon ones had the Silver Hot One wheels. Collector number 156. So, there you go. Didn't have that one. Does not fit in the Plano case because of the tall head, but I just kind of stick them up on the top shelf above those ones. And this one actually has the thin axles. The suspension axles, as I call them. You can listen to the difference in the wheels rolling sound. Oh, that one has thin axles too. So does that one. Now that one. Love the thin axle Hot Wheels of the early 90s. They're really quite cool. So there you go. That one's worth about $15, apparently, according to the Zarnock Guide, in mint condition. In real life, these things aren't selling for very much nowadays on eBay. Nobody really wants them, it seems. Other than me. Here's a vehicle I did not have. The Command Tank, number 160. Cost 99 cents at KB. Whatever KB is. So nice to have that one in the collection. It's got the little tiny mini wheels on the bottom. They help it roll. It's got the flop down back door showing some snow-clad white army dudes. Got a rotating turret, tilting gun. That often will break if you try too hard though. So I won't. But lots of moving parts. Quite a heavy little casting, and certainly not one you're going to see nowadays. Pretty nice to add that to the collection. Did not have that. Okay, now we're into the second row. So that's that. Second row, nothing super desirable here as far as price-wise, but we got the proper chopper. Some rare variations of that one, although no one really seems to be looking for that casting anymore. Mercedes 540K, Double Demon, Gulch Stepper, Recycling Truck, multiple variations, Oshkosh Cement Mixer, and a Ford Aerostar. I've still got more cars left to open, of course, on the diorama, but this is a good chunk of the lower priced cars that I needed to open up to make that room. 185, I'm just going to open up the old Zarnock book here because I've already forgotten what's going on with this one. And like I said, not overly valuable. There it is. 185, proper chopper, white enamel. Nothing worth more than $7 here, so out you come. Now this one here, for packaging purposes, had both of the rotor blades connected together, or kind of turned together. Now you have to be careful when you separate these two, because there's a little locking nib, and quite frequently that's how they break. So I'm actually not going to bother trying. Also, this thing pops out. So once you separate the two rotors, then you'd have, you know, a proper kind of a Bell 206 Jet Ranger type helicopter. But in order to fit it in the Plano compartments, you're going to need to keep it as it was in the package. Unit 45, Unit 45, Unit 4. Now Search and Rescue. This is the faded card, as you can see. Slightly newer. And this one's worth about $4 according to the Zarnock book. In reality, you can probably buy these at a flea market for about $1. Same situation on all of them. And the hardest one to find, I believe, is this red and yellow Search and Rescue version. It's got the red plastic. So I have all of these already on my wall, but mine are just beat. They're destroyed. Except for the red one. I didn't have the red one. But these helicopters here you see are replacing this sad version with one rotor blade because someone tried too roughly to take the two apart. It's all chipped up. And this one, someone was so aggressive with it that it has no rotor blades. So those ones are gone. Whoop. 3 helicopters. Mercedes 540K. Really not an expensive car. Surprised I didn't have this one in my collection. I have a Blackwall, a 5-dot, and a Snowblade version, but I did not have the 5-spoke. Number 164. I think that's a $4 or $5 car according to the Variations guidebook. Nice to add it to the collection so that it can sit alongside. I was doing this before for all the cars. I'm not going to do it for every single one, but there they all are. TriBlade, 5-dot, or Snowblade, black wall. Some of these cars featured more red metal flake in the blue than others, but that's not really a variation that seems to be noted in any book or any website that I've seen. Although this car here is just inundated with the red flakes. It's really quite pretty. So there you have it. 5-spoke and all those cars. Those have a removable roof as well. You can make them into convertibles. Double Demon, another unpopular casting. Did not do super well. Really nothing worth that much here. This is the bright yellow version. It's about the second rarest of the three on the 199 collector number. The second, or the first rarest, would be a light yellow version of this one, which is the dark yellow version. The first one's kind of like a fluorescent yellow. It's like a dragon with two heads, some sort of demon dragon. Definitely probably one of my least enjoyed castings, but because I do collect all cars in the blue card range, that one was needed. I don't have either of those castings anywhere in my collection, and I know why. Next one, Gulch Stepper, number 251. I have this one in my collection already, but it's just all chipped up and smashed. It also came out with the regular construction tires, both in black and red. And here they are. And here's my smashed up Snowblade version. It's not that bad, but the wheels are all wonky and bent. It's missing some chrome and some paint. So another one of those situations. No point having this car sitting in the package in a box somewhere. It's really not worth that much, even though these cars are going on 20 to 30 years old in the package. I think that, this is a whole nother subject matter really, but the value of Hot Wheels is not overly affected by the packaging anymore, as a lot of collectors are opening their cars up to enjoy them these days, and realistically, it's just a real nuisance collecting all this cardboard unless you have a proper way to display it. So ultimately, you're just kind of saving it for someone else like me, and then I'll just open it up. So I don't know. It's nice to buy them in the packaging. I'm not dismissing that. These are nice packages, but there are just so many Hot Wheels. It's difficult to know where to begin and to stop when they're releasing now 500 different models a year. And these ones are from the blue card, where there was, with variations, probably about 3,000 to 4,000 cars. You can imagine how much room that takes up in cardboard and plastic, whereas I can put in the background 3,000 to 4,000 cars on the wall and then pick them up and look at them and enjoy them. So that's the difference for me anyways. Recycling truck, the 5-spoke was the hard one to find. That apparently was worth about $10. Mine just fell apart. And that's a common thing. When you find these things played with, they're often missing the kind of the bucket thing, and definitely the back. I've never actually had one fall apart in my hands brand new to the package, but probably has something to do with the age of the plastic. Still, nice. Snowblade version, worth about $4. See if it has the same troubles. Not really. Maybe some malformed clips or something. But I'm going to put those in my collection. I already have these trucks in the orange paint, which is most common. You're going to see these ones with the black wall wheels. You're going to see these ones with the 7-spoke wheels, both in orange and green. So now we've got a whole bunch of recycling trucks, different wheel variations. Okay, we've got 2 vehicles left for you guys. Oshkosh cement mixer. I'm not going to be trying to pull off all these on the wall. I don't think there's a lot of them. Number 269. Not worth more than about $3 or $4. Kind of a goofy casting, really small scale, probably about 1/100th, if not more. It does have a rotating cement mixer part, all plastic. It's got the snow blades on it. This thing came out with black walls, 5-spoke, 7-spoke, 5 dots, you name it. It came out. There's lots of them. Ford Aerostar. This was not a rare vehicle either. Originally came out as those Vulcan van, I think was what it was first called, and they had the flip-out arrangement spring thing where He flipped the van onto its roof with a little peg that got caught on certain track sets. So anyways, I have one of these already, but mine has a few scuffs and scratches, and so just like all things in this collection, I like to have them mint. It's a very heavy piece. It's a cool casting. I really enjoy it, and it's nice to have one now in pristine condition. Hello! Oops. So there you go. That's my video for the day on the opening of the Hot Wheels cars. Clearing the table ever so slowly. As I said, I've been at this since about May of this year, but there was about 10 times as many Hot Wheels on the table, and I'm saving the absolute best for last, guys. I've got a whole blob of the gold ultra hot version cars, like tons of them. These cars, if you were to add each one up for sale on eBay at the moment, probably looking at a couple $1,000s. And I've got some rare variations of the blue cards here, just a few, the rarest ones. And a few newer cars as well. So we're going to look at those coming videos. A bunch of promotional cars, nothing overly expensive here, so that's probably the next one to get all opened up. Just a lot of cool kind of promotional Chuck E. Cheese type cars, and you know, different things like that. And then lastly, I have a wad of Auto World cars I need to decide to open or display somehow otherwise. But lots of Auto World cars that want to get opened up. These are not new ones, they're older versions. And that's about it. And then we're back to making videos on the diorama. I'm not sure how it got so bad. It's because I went on a huge blue card shopping experience to try and fill in the gaps in my blue card collection. So I guess that's what happened over the winter of 2019. Anyway, stick around. Lots more videos coming. Happy hunting.